First question. Do you believe that cohabitation, wait, yeah, wait. My brain is not reading this right at all.
Cohabitation.
Yeah. I was like, I know this is wrong. And I was like, for some reason, I'm just not able. Okay. Anyway. Before marriage leads to divorce, why or why not? Okay, I guess I'll start. I guess more, I didn't really think much about it. I guess um I believe in it just more because the statistics show that divorce tends to happen for couples that go down that route first before marriage. So I guess that's why I kind of believe it. Believe it does. But yeah. Someone else have a different opinion or same opinion?
Uh, I think it. I think there's a lot of factors that lead to divorce. I don't necessarily believe cohabitation is one of them. Um, I'm going through a divorce right now, and I think it was just it's a lot of things. You change over the years. So, which goes into the other question of 2A, but um people just take advantage and you just get to your breaking point. And there's stress and financial problems and parenting issues. I think those play more of a factor in a divorce than cohabitation.
That's good. Or a good response, not good.
Well,
That kind of came out wrong.
no, I don't. It just. I mean, living with someone before you get married, I don't think you totally understand all like the little things that happen. So leaving your dishes in the sink instead of putting them in a dishwasher might not bother you when you're living together. It's like, yeah, whatever, not a big deal. And then you get married and then you have kids and it's like, why can't you just put the shit in the dishwasher? It's right
Yeah.
next to you. It's just little things that just come together and you just start bitching about everything.
Yeah, that does. I guess I didn't quite think that way. How, especially over time, once kids and once there's more stressors added, it definitely can affect that. I've also like, I mean, I'm clearly, I've never, well, I guess not clearly, I've never been married before or anything, so I don't really know what it's really like.
It's just different when you don't have children. And it's different if one of the parents they stay at home and the other parent works all the time. And then, abuse gets thrown in there and that changes everything because it doesn't happen right away. It just slowly happens over time.
Okay, hearing you explain it makes me kind of change my opinion on it.
I just think there's a whole lot of other reasons that lead to divorce, not necessarily living together before getting married. I think you have to live together before you get married.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, I thought maybe living together before would like almost be better just so you can kind of get a feel for what it's going to be like living together if you guys get married. But
right. But then you got to add all the other things that happen in life.
yeah, there's a lot of factors that play into it for sure.
That may not be That may not incentivize putting a ring on it though, too.
That what?
I said that may not incentivize putting a ring on it. You know, why pay for the milk when you can get it for free, kind of deal. If you're living together already, like there's no reason to get married if you. There may not be
right
or less of a reason if you're already living together. You're pretty much married. Like I don't know. Not that I'm for or against it. I'm just saying that that's kind of a possibility.
But I think, I don't know, that also brings you back to like social norms, and that's just the next step.
Mm-hmm.
And most people will just say, okay, whatever. I mean, it's the next step, and they're not, you know, that's where it's going. Unless they don't get along when they're living together.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think everybody tends to ignore the red flags.
Yeah. Because they don't want to. They don't want to have to.
Yeah. And even like pink flags are still red flags. But I don't think I'd ever get married again. I really honestly don't. But I will look for every single red flag in any relationship if I ever have one in the future. And I will run in the opposite direction. Because people don't change.
Yeah. I can agree with that one to an extent for what I know. Anybody else?
Younger people can change. Older people, I don't think can change.
Yeah. I think, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I've never been in a relationship like that. And I don't feel like I have enough life experience to have much more of an opinion on it. For myself, at least, to have any more input to say, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense.
All right. Does anybody else want to say anything, or should we move on to the second question? Okay, let's just move on to the second question. Okay, have you been a part of a sandwich generation household where your grandparents live with you? Have you thought about where your parents will live when they enter late adulthood?
I have. My grandma stayed with me when she first went to Tulsa for like a month. That was interesting as fuck. My daddy and my grandmama do not get along at all. So that was interesting. That was always at each other. Now, where would I put? I feel like me, I'm gonna have to, I don't know. Because my grandma showed me she's capable of staying by herself. And she's like in her 70s. So I feel like my parents gonna be fine if I leave them by themselves. And that's just my hope. Because I would hate for them to stay with me. I would hate for them to stay with me. So I feel like they'll be all right. But if anything, like if let's say they have dementia, Alzheimer's, or something serious like that, they're more than welcome to stay with me. But besides that, I feel like they're gonna be fine.
I've never lived with a grandparent before, so I don't really know what it's like. I mean, I would go like, I guess I kind of did, but not like with my parents or anything. And I would 100% let my parents live with me if they needed to. Well, I'm adopted, so I kind of feel like I owe it to them, and I wouldn't mind doing it. So if they needed to live with me later in their adulthood, or yeah, their late adulthood, they can stay with me. Anybody else have any inputs on that? Or should we move on to the next question? Okay, I took that as move on to the next question. Okay. Is it beneficial for parents to stay together for the kids?
No.
I would say no. Yeah, I would say no. because
It's not.
I feel like even though it like sucks to still like have to go through a divorce or like be separated, I think it's much worse to show your children almost like a fake relation, or not even if you don't hide it, and you're showing your child like the kind of relationship you have with your partner, it's obviously gonna be negative. You're gonna have a negative every outcome for everything. So I don't think it's smart at all to stay just for a child. I think you guys could definitely show your child a happier life, not forcing a relationship just because of the children.
Yes, yeah. It also depends on the parent.
Fair. It does.
It depends on the parent. So I was married for 7 years. Quickly after I got married, I got pregnant with my oldest. And then 14 months later, I had my youngest. So it was back to back. And our arrangement was I stayed at home with the girls and he worked. So I was able to tolerate. We only saw him for 15 minutes a day. So I was able to tolerate it until I wasn't. And then that was when the cheating started. And then, slowly after the girls were born, like the abuse. And it's little by little. It's not something that just came out of nowhere one day. But looking back, I probably should have left when my youngest was born, or even before that. But I don't think it's beneficial. I mean, at the time, it was beneficial. I mean, I was living here with no family. But now that they're older and they understand what's going on and the things that they have seen, like him do to me, it's not worth it.
Fair. There can be different factors into it.
Yeah.
As well, which I think you obviously said earlier that plays along into this question.
Yes.
Anybody else have any thoughts?
I think in the beginning, it can probably seem like it's worth it to stay financially and emotionally because it's familiar and there's a stability in that. But in the long run, it probably isn't the best for you or for the children to stay in that.
It's definitely not.
Should we move on to the next question? How much do you think siblings can influence development? And then it just says, feel free to discuss your experiences with your siblings if you are comfortable. Someone want to start with that one?
Well, I have a lot of siblings. I have 5 siblings, so there's 6 of us here all the time. And I don't know specifically how they've influenced my development, but I know that I would be a different person if I didn't have so many siblings because I'm never alone. So that's the big part of it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that they can influence you for sure. I also have a lot of siblings. There's like 7 of us, but I'm also adopted and I also went through foster care. So like I also kind of like grew up. It's almost like I had a lot of siblings at one point. So I mean that heavily influenced me, just like the kind of like kids I was constantly around, and I was in different environment. I was in a lot of different environments. So I feel like, I mean, I don't know, that definitely influenced me. Is anybody a only child? No.
No. I only have a brother and a sister, but They're in New York, so I'm far away from them. In this last year, it's been harder to have a relationship with them because they don't understand what it is that I'm going through because they haven't gone through it. So it's harder to connect right now.
Yeah.
I mean, because, you know, hindsight's 50-50. So it's just hard right now.
Yeah. I bet the distance especially doesn't make it any easier.
No, I mean, with FaceTime and everything, it's all right. We still, the girls and I still drive back there. But it's right now, this last year, it's changed a lot.
Does anybody else want to talk about theirs? Only if you're comfortable, he said. Or we can move on to the next question. Okay. While it is a way off, how much have you thought about your generativity? What will you leave behind? Are you thinking about the biological, the parental, the work, or the cultural generativity?
I have not given this any thought.
Honestly, I haven't. I really haven't either. I really don't know what to say on that because I haven't given it. It's not even though I tried to think about it, but I was like, no, because I haven't thought about it at all until I had to read this question. I mean, I read
didn't
it
even
before we
think about
even
it.
started, but I still was like,
Yeah.
I have no clue.
I can't even think that far ahead right now.
Has anybody else thought that far ahead? All right, well, we can move on to
Could
the
you
next.
repeat the question one more time, please? And thank you. My bad.
While it is a ways off, how much have you thought about your generativity? What will you leave behind? Are you thinking about the biological, the parental, the work, or the cultural generativity?
Parental, I want a daughter, so I'm more focused on that. That's like the overarching goal. Everything I'm doing right now is to be able to provide for her.
You said if you have one before that, right?
If I
You
have
said
one,
if you have one or you have one?
if I have when, not if, because that's the goal. I gotta have one because my son is gonna be. We had this talk. My son will be bad as hell, so it gotta be a daughter. So when I have my daughter, my bad. Let me clarify that when.
You know, it doesn't really work like that, right?
You said what?
It doesn't really work like that.
I'm gonna be praying to God every day for 9 months. I'm gonna be so bad if it come out the sun. I can't even lie.
Well, it's funny because I wish for a boy. I'm like, I cannot have a girl. Like, can't do it. Don't no. I was a horrible kid growing up. I can't do it.
That. That's why I want a daughter. Exactly that.
But I got 2 daughters, and they are like the best things ever. I don't think, and I have all nephews. I don't think I could have. I don't think I would want a boy.
I don't know about that one, man. I was a terrible kid. I'm still a terrible kid, so it's really iffy there. Like I said, mine's more parental. That's just basically, like I said, main goal. But what will I leave behind? That's a hard question.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know what I'll leave behind.
Should we move on to the next question, to the last question, since we're in the last 8 minutes of it? Okay, what labels, as in labeling theory, have you adopted in your life? Are you still labeled as such? Are the effects of this label positive or negative? Do you think they have influenced your development? Does anybody have themselves labeled or had themselves labeled? I don't know like a specific label I put on myself, but I just know for a while I did have like negative labels just because I was like, I tend to be, and I do it very, very unintentionally, but I tend to be a more negative person. Like I have something negative to say about myself or like about a situation, and I do it so unintentional. But like I think like I've just always kind of had that mindset. So, and I was just like growing up influenced kind of around a more negative environment. So it's kind of like made me label things in a more negative way, if that makes sense. But I really try. I mean, I try not to be all the time because I know it's not always good. Does anybody else want to say their part if they have anything to add about themselves?
I mean, I just can relate to right now on everything. Like, for example, we're going through a really bad custody case. So, and with that comes all of a sudden, after 6.5 years of raising my daughters by myself, I'm a horrible mom, making horrible decisions. And it's just that spite. And that, you know, all these claims that I'm an alcoholic and a drug user and all, whatever he can just pull and try and get his way. So at this point, those are they haven't affected me negatively because I can prove they're all false, but it's just that's how he is going around to other people, and that's what he's claiming.
That's harsh label.
Well, it's I don't really care what people think of me. I really don't. But what I do care about is how he's doing it in front of the girls.
Yeah.
Which is horrible. It's absolutely horrible. I mean, I don't understand why it needs to be like the way that it is, but I mean, he lives with his girlfriend. He's never spent time with the girls one-on-one, like ever. And now he wants full custody because I'm a bad mom. Which doesn't it's just mind-blowing because what all of a sudden?
Yeah.
So
I can't imagine that.
Being labeled as that, I mean, him going around saying it doesn't influence my development because I know it's not true. It's just people are gonna say things about you that you can't really have it influence you. Just goes in one ear and out the other.
Yeah. Does anybody else feel like they want to share theirs too? I just know we're running low on time, so I want to make sure everybody talks if they want to. No? Okay. Well, any final thoughts on anything?